Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and now let's talk Darling in the Franxx, episode 6. And just a very quick note, thanks for tuning in. The video came up really late, but my weekend was horrifically busy the majority of the time. And then I got distracted with another video project yesterday, so it delayed the video quite a bit. Anyway, Darling in the Franxx, episode 6. Yeah, wow. So last time, I was all doom and gloom. I was thinking someone's gonna die. Because, you know, like, you gotta get ready for that kind of stuff these days, because nowadays death is shock value and all that, and people like doing it. But hey, no, Darling in the Franxx continued to be nice to us. And we didn't lose a single character, and I'm not gonna lie to you, when you saw like Hiro on the floor there with that blue thing growing all over his face, it's like, Jesus, this is gonna be a pretty brutal death if they go through with it. But no, we didn't get that. Instead, we get an episode that shows Hiro recovering. And that really is, I think, the most interesting thing in the episode that I think is worth talking about. So that's going to be the majority of this video. I'm going to try and keep it relatively short compared to the other ones. But we'll have to see, because there's a few plot elements being thrown around. But because a lot of the episode was fighting, it does reduce some of the things we could talk about. But before we get into it, let's just make a few very quick notes. First off, look at this angle of this monster about to smash Tripl-L. That angle, how did that blow them all the way to the... Okay, look, if that thing was smashing in a downward angle, they would have been encrusted into the earth, not into the wall of some building. Okay, whatever. But you know, non-issue. That's just stylistic choices. I did find it funny when it just turned into a giant battering ram. I thought that was just... Of course it can turn into a giant battering ram. Then we have the scene with the wings. I thought that was funny. Like, you know, it's totally unnecessary, but on the symbolic note, it's like, look, they can produce wings that fly, and then, oh, there we go, we dropped it. Anyway, interesting little bit there. Another little quick note, Naomi. Like, they told us that Naomi was okay, but guys... We saw the way that thing smashed in the first episode. When I see Naomi there in like Hiro's last minute sequence where he's thinking he's dead, I'm taking that as a soft confirmation this girl is dead. Until they show me her body, I will believe that she is dead. But otherwise, it's not really that big of a deal again. And finally, this prick at the end right here, this blonde boy, I want to say he looks like Hiro. But you know, anime characters look so identical to each other sometimes. It's really hard to tell. Like, you change the face structures usually look the same, but this guy is just the most pretentious thing ever. He ends off the episode with saying 9th iota. Alright, here's the thing. Iota is the 9th letter of the Greek alphabet, I believe. So what he's saying is ninth letter. It's stupid redundancy just because it sounds like moderately cool. It's just, okay, whatever. I just found it funny. So there you go for record, iota or iota. I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm thinking iota. It's the 9th letter of the Greek alphabet. I'm just looking that up again just to make sure I'm not screwing it up. Yeah, 9th letter of the Greek alphabet, an extremely small amount. Whatever. It's just. I was gonna say, like, where was he during all this fighting, and it's a non-issue. One thing though is that back in episode 4, we actually got a little bit of information about these guys, because we know we've seen them in the opening before. But back in episode 4, they called them the Nines, and when we had a council of the head honchos, they were talking about how they're gonna let the Nines handle all the upsurge in the Klaxosaurs. So these guys, they've been referenced in the show before, and so it's just interesting to see them here. They're supposed to be off dealing with monster surges, but nah, man, they gotta be here to like hype up whatever is gonna be happening next. Anyway, that's little notes I wanted to make real quick before we get into the main chunk of this. I guess like I should make one last note about Ichigo having her breakdown when Hiro seems to have kicked the bucket. And to be fair, like, you know, yeah, that's totally fine. I mean, like, I feel that was a realistic reaction. I really am not going to take anything away from the girl. Did I see it coming? I guess, kinda, but it's like, whatever. The one thing I didn't see coming, though, was that this monster, the Klaxosaur, was gonna look so funny. I mean, it's a box with horns, man. That's funny. That's so funny. And like, someone said that this is gonna be impressive. Like, you know, the action sequences are actually like pretty to look at, but like beyond a certain point, they're just like nice to look at. Oh, one last thing. We saw a building. So this is like one of the first remnants of the old world that we just saw in the series. I really enjoyed that bit. Anyway, let's talk about Hiro. So Hiro, in this one, we see that the blue thing is growing through him, and as we can see through the skin tight suit, that thing is really throbbing. It's like growth. It's really grows. But then we go through the very interesting sequence as we see him just unconscious, seeing 02 go crazy trying to deal with things. You know, he's coming up with all his realizations about the girl. Cool stuff overall, I guess. But yeah, we have him coming through all the realizations. We have him going through that sequence with Naomi. We have him showing up in front of a tree. That tree is most likely pivotal to 02's backstory. It's probably a big deal, that tree. Anyway, what we ultimately see is that his not reassurance, his reaffirmation to wanting to help 02 is ultimately what heals him. So this is very interesting in that this, I think, indicates that whatever Hiro had was metaphysical. It came from a metaphysical place. Like, you cannot deal with it with just physical means. And what I'm saying is, like, if we make it metaphysical, it makes sense that your mentality or your emotions can interfere with it, because it's something that transcends the physical world. And when you consider like what the Franxx are about, like it's about entering another person's subconscious and all that. When you look at the situation with Hiro, I feel like what ultimately ends up happening is like that blue growth was some type of rejection that was occurring. So Hiro goes into 02's body and he contracts this thing that, as long as, I guess, Hiro is more or less rejecting 02, this thing is going to act in defense of 02. It's like some kind of safety mechanism. Anyway, not the point. The idea behind like what I'm trying to say is like the only way to make emotions or deciding to help 02, the only way to make that work really well is if this, let's call it a virus, this virus that Hiro contracted is sentient to the point that it understands when its initial host or its initial creator or its initial spreader is not in danger. I could easily see this virus being a defense mechanism to keep people away from 02. Like, you go into her body and these are like the white blood cells that go in. It's just because everything's so invasive with the parasite in general. Because everything's so invasive, you have these things popping up. But that's really the only thing I can really see, or something along those lines that would justify reaffirming yourself to someone's cause. That's the only way I could see this healing. It's just, it's not a physical thing. It's like something that's entirely based around protecting 02 and also like making sure that whoever is 02's partner is actually not going to screw her over. Because like, why would you want to have your part, if, yeah, like I'm thinking of like the mechanism of a body. Why would you want your host body to be destroyed by someone else if you can prevent it? So it's just, it's weird. It's a weird little one, but I think they have enough freedoms to make something work for this whole situation. Anyway, that's not to say that this whole episode wasn't heartwarming, or sorry, that whole last bit was heartwarming, especially where he grabs 02. I really like that sequence. Also notice he has claws there, but that's like whatever. Anyway, it's overall, I think, an interesting episode. I'm very interested to find out what this kid is talking about. Ninth Iota. Is Ninth Iota Hiro or is it 02? And also, again, why is he being such a prick? What are the nines? Are they that big of a deal? Whatever. Anyway, I'm excited to see the future of this. I'm excited to hopefully get some background on the blue infection. I want to know what that is. Someone tell me, and then someone praise Hiro for being so awesome. I want to see my character get rewarded, alright? I want to see him have a good time. But yeah, you know, overall, I think it's a solid episode. I enjoyed it, more or less, but it's not the most interesting to talk about because a lot of it was just fighting. Anyway, let's call it there. Guys, thanks for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a great day. And if I missed anything and you want to talk about anything more, just mention it down below. Till next time.